I'm Micheal Marrow, air warfare reporter for Breaking Defense, and I'm here with Ashley Roque, who covers the Pentagon and land warfare for Breaking Defense. We're here at the Reagan National Defense Forum, and Ash, I want to ask you, what are some of the big things we heard today at the forum?
So, I guess probably the one thing to highlight is Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin gave a keynote speech. He sort of called on lawmakers that they need to pass the FY24 defense spending bill and also a $105 billion supplemental, largely to fund the wars in Ukraine and Israel, and said without that money, it sort of puts the U.S. at risk for losing face around the globe. In addition to that, he also sort of promised U.S. ironclad support for Israel. But at the same time, he made a departure from previous statements and sort of called on Israel to take into consideration the Palestinian deaths within Gaza, because if those aren't taken into consideration and they keep mounting, there's a risk of a tactical advantage or a tactical victory, but maybe a strategic failure.
Right. Definitely stronger language than maybe we heard at the beginning of this conflict, especially as concerns mount in Congress about continued aid to Israel.
Definitely. You know, his comments also came on the heels of a report that was released earlier this week by the Ronald Reagan Institute, talking about, it's a poll of Americans, and they found 59% actually still support Ukraine, military aid for Ukraine specifically, which is a stark difference from some other polls that have sort of put Ukraine support below the 50% threshold. I also heard that there was some news that you overheard on the Collaborative Combat Aircraft program. Also some AI and software engineering. Could you sort of walk me through what that was?
Yeah, absolutely. So Secretary Kendall today, you know, to your point, with defense leaders urging the passage of the FY24 budget, Secretary Kendall, the Air Force, warned that the Air Force's plans for collaborative combat aircraft, drones that could fly and fight alongside fighters, could be delayed by nearly a year due to this budget impasse. He also raised some interesting points about keeping humans in the loop. There have been a lot of ethical concerns about the use of AI with military systems, and he raised the point that if humans need to be in the loop, they could lose critical seconds that an AI a decision AI could make on its own. In addition to that, on the theme of cutting edge tech that the military is looking to field, not all of it is hardware. A lot of it is software. There's a lot of discussion in software acquisition today. Lockheed's Chief Executive Officer, Jim Taiclet, talked again about his idea for a parallel path for software acquisition, one that could be much faster and decoupled from hardware. And Bill LaPlante, the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment, actually endorsed that idea on a panel today. He said there's merit to it. In addition to that, there was a lot of discussion on other key technologies that the military is looking to field, and maybe not as fast as officials hope, but all with an eye towards deterring China, and also ensuring that technologies are delivered for Ukraine, Israel, and all the other threats that the U.S. military has to face around the world.
Great. Sort of on that China theme, I just finished an interview with the Army Acquisition Chief Doug Bush. The services have been rushing to field long-range hypersonic weapons, but the Army has sort of been stumbling and has been postponing when they think they're going to be fielding. And he's told me that they've narrowed it down to the launcher. So they're going to decouple the launcher testing from the missile testing over the next few weeks and months, and hopefully maybe by mid-calendar year 2024, they might have an operational weapon. But they're going to sort of take a step back, retool their testing plan, and then proceed.
Right, and of course, hypersonic technology, somewhere where China is ahead of the U.S. along with Russia, with a lot of lawmakers been concerned about that. Actually, earlier today, we even heard from Secretary Raimondo of the Commerce Department, who endorsed tighter export controls on technology to prevent China from getting its hands on more cutting-edge tech that the U.S. currently has access to. So maybe not a surprise that more aggressive steps are being taken to curtail the transfer of that technology, but certainly was something interesting to hear at the forum today.
Yeah, no bones about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been a jam-packed day.
It has.
I hope you turn to Breaking Defense for continued coverage of the Reagan Forum. More stories will come out of it. Again, I'm Micheal Marrow, air warfare reporter here with Ashley Roque, who covers Pentagon and land warfare. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.